Yo, what's up, everybody? Mic check, 1 2 1 2. We are back with another episode of the Smoke 2.0 podcast, and I'm telling y'all, we're gonna step it up every fucking time. We're gonna have beautiful women, we're gonna have actresses, we're gonna have all these different types of guests, and it's gonna be litty. It's just gonna keep getting littier. I'm sorry, but today I got a very special guest, right? This voluptuous motherfucker over here goes by the name of. You want to introduce yourself to the people?
Hi, my name is Reeses Pieces.
Hey, Reese's Pieces. Now, as you know, we focus on mind, body, and spiritual healing, and we accompany it with raw entertainment. So I'm gonna ask you everything. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to answer it. But it's gonna get, it's gonna get real around here.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So first off, start off by telling us who you are, like what you do a little bit. I see you smoking your blunt.
I'm an adult content creator.
Mm-hmm.
I have been for a few years now.
And you worked in the strip club too
Yep.
before all that. Okay. Okay.
Baltimore, Florida, New York.
Hey, okay. So you was a traveling stripper.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I had my little team.
Oh, so you was a pimp too.
No pimping, no pimping.
I
I
feel
just
you.
made sure my girls were good.
Nah, that's respectable. That's respectable. And with everything that's going on, it's a lot of shit going on. Black Lives Matter. This shit ain't nothing new. COVID. People out of work. New York is fucked up right now. All the indoor dining is shut down. Um, how are you like coping with everything? Where you at mentally? Like, how's your mental health?
I was social distancing before it was called social distancing. I
so
only
you
went out to work.
so you made it cool. You was the originator.
Yeah, I was cool. I was all right. It was no change in my lifestyle whatsoever.
So like when it comes to like how you like handle shit, like mentally, you feel like you was already strong, like mentally tough, and like this shit didn't really bother you.
Isolation is necessary for growth.
Mm, I feel
And I
that.
had had a little too much of society.
I feel you. You feel like you're an empath, like you pick up on other people's energies, and you need time to just recharge.
I am an empathic introvert.
I feel like that's unique right there. Um, what is it like? What are some of your passions? Like what are some things you passionate about rather?
Systemic racism,
Wow.
because people have a really hard time recognizing it and accepting it. It's there.
Mhm.
It's not going to go away just because you don't believe it's there. It's there.
Mm,
Your opinion doesn't change the fact.
mm.
Um, Human trafficking
Yeah.
and abortion rights.
Okay, shit. Well, let's get into it. You're Latina, right?
Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican and Black, Southern Mediterranean.
Okay, so you all passionate about it. Why do you think like people choose to ignore like this whole thing of systemic racism? Do you think it makes them like comfortable?
Yeah, it
So
makes them uncomfortable. It makes them have to account. It makes them have to take accountability for what their community is doing, for what their people are doing.
yeah, yeah. You know
And
how?
it makes them uncomfortable because they don't want to be held accountable for an entire race.
Yeah,
It's kind of ironic.
yeah. Well, I'm an actor, and one of my favorite moments in like cinema history was at the Oscars, right? Back in 1970s, Marlon Brando, he didn't accept this Oscar. You know who Marlon Brando is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't accept his Oscar because of like how black people and how minorities were getting treated, and they was so fucking mad at him because he had somebody accept his award on his behalf, and they started talking about human rights. So it kind of ruined their fantasy. So that's how
Yep.
I look at it.
It
Like
ruined their
people.
little bubble of not having to say, okay, we as a people are at fault.
Yeah, yeah,
We as a system, as a government agency, are at fault.
yeah.
And that's what they don't want to accept.
I feel like how do you feel like you could fight against it? or you just like, yo, it's nothing you could do. Just try to be the best you could be.
There's a really good show on Stars called American Gods.
Mm.
And God, I can't remember his name right now, but he's an amazing actor.
Orlando Jones.
That one right there, that
Yeah.
amazing actor right there. He said it best when he said anger gets shit done. Because if you take a look at history, everything that was done through anger and violence. So why are we being told now that we can't be violent after acts of violence were committed against us for the past 4, 5, 600 years? Farther
Yeah.
back that we may not even know.
Yeah.
So
That you
anger
know,
gets shit
that
done.
I feel that because I always said like religion was like a tool to keep us tamed. Because every time, like especially like even with my parents, sometimes we try to we come from good families, some of us, whatever. But it's good people in this world, and motherfuckers just be like, bro, nah, just be forgiving. And it's like, bro, how many times am I gonna get slapped in the face before?
Sorry about that.
She can't handle it. But it's like, how many times am I gonna get slapped in the face before I slap you back?
Right.
Yeah.
We are not our ancestors. I refuse to turn the other cheek.
Nah, I feel that. I feel that. Um, how are you breaking generational curses? You know what I mean? From when you grew up, how your parents dealt with you, and to
That's a
how
good question.
yeah, and to how you deal with your children. Like, do you hit your kids? Like, do you try to teach them certain things?
Okay. I was raised in a very strictly religious, cult-like religion.
Yeah.
My family was Jehovah's Witness. They still are. I remember a lot of neglect, a lot of just being ignored. Um, I remember a lot of beatdowns for stupid little shit. Getting smacked for having an opinion.
Yeah.
Um, I refuse to raise my son like that. I refuse to raise him being afraid to say how he feels about something. That is what I consider abuse. That is a death of character and creativity.
Mm.
Those generational curses, being stuck inside of a religion, not being able to live life and be happy, following some religion created in the 1960s, 1970s. This religion doesn't even have long standing, like it hasn't been here that long.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. There's communication that was always missing, comprehension, tolerance, just never was there.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you so you said you were passionate about like abortion rights and shit like that. Um, were you ever at a point where you was like, yo, what if I should abort my son or something like that? Or you always kind of been like, yo, I'm pro-choice, like I
My
want to.
first son, my only son, um, found out I was pregnant with him when he was only 2 weeks. And there was nothing in my mind, nothing anyone could tell me that would change my mind about him being a boy. I wanted a boy. I wanted a little boy. I got exactly what I wanted. I actually had two abortions and a miscarriage right after. I had gotten pregnant again while my son was about 3 or 4 months old. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle. I was living in Rhode Island, and the smallest state in the United States. And it was a struggle. So I
Yeah,
decided, I wasn't going to bring another child into this world just for that child to struggle too.
yeah,
That was my first one. I had a miscarriage in 2014. Didn't even know I was pregnant.
yeah,
And then my last one, it was unfortunate that I had even gotten pregnant by this man. But after that one, I had chosen that I was going to be safer so I wouldn't have to go through that experience again.
mm,
But I'm not going to sit here and tell somebody else what they can and cannot do with their own body.
Yeah.
That's if it's your decision and you thought about it and you know what you're doing, I'll support you.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and act like I have authority over someone else's body. I don't even act like that with my son. He
Yeah.
gets to choose what he wants to do with his body.
Yeah. You think
And
you think it's like a little too much freedom you giving them, or because I don't I'm not a judgmental person either, but I do know that sometimes parents do have to set a little bit of rules. You know what I'm saying? So how do you find that balance?
I'd rather raise my son aware of what's going on around him in the world than to keep him in the shadows because he's just a child.
Yeah.
He needs to be prepared.
Yeah.
So there are certain subjects like, adult relationships, um, certain places on the internet where you are not supposed to go as a child. Um, and we talk like we already had the birds and the bees conversation. He knows where babies come from. He knows how it all works out. And he was okay with it
Yeah.
because it was hidden from me as a child. And all it did was make me dig into it deeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody spoke to me about sex. So porn was the only way I found out about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
porn,
I didn't,
and we know the
yeah,
effect of that.
I know the money it makes.
Nah, hell yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of money to be in that motherfucker. Was so in that when it struck your curiosity, you said I remember we were on the phone. You said, "Yo, I was a developed young girl at like age 10." Like what size are your boobs right now?
I stopped measuring. I can't find bras in my size anymore.
Oh, you gotta get them custom.
Yeah, there's like $75. And they don't even last that long. They're supposed to meant to be pretty. And then the ones that actually last long are like old lady.
Damn. So why don't you just go? Why don't you just go braless? Like, what's the actual purpose of a bra?
Well, for me, it's to make sure that my boobs don't clap when I'm walking fast.
Right.
But it's supposed to be for support because these bitches are heavy. These ain't little puppies. These is full grown dogs.
Yeah. So you be having back problems.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I've
So
had back problems for a few years now.
okay. Yeah, it's all right. Well, good luck with that. I hope it gets better. But
Shit
you are
happens.
blessed. Yeah, shit happens. Fuck it, right? Um, and so like, how was that like growing up? Like, describe that because it's a lot of young girls, especially. And you said you were passionate about human trafficking, right? They see these young developed girls who are just like they get like fat asses at a young age. How was that for you? And then, what kind of attention did it garner?
A lot of unwanted attention by old, gross ass men. And
Mm,
I was too young to come up with a plan to monetize that.
mm,
I was still too sheltered, too naive to realize I could make money off this shit.
mm.
So it was a lot of fear. I didn't know what to do. Nobody prepared me. There wasn't any, hey, if somebody does this, this is what they're trying to do. Don't do that. Like, I believed people at face value.
Mm.
And that was my biggest mistake. I almost got caught up in human trafficking. Um, in New York. You know about Coney Island?
Oh, what? Hell yeah! But I
Okay.
don't go often because it's a far ass drive. But yeah.
When I was 19, I almost got caught up in human trafficking. One of the carney managers was just gonna take me on the road with him, and I was just gonna work for him, and not realizing that he had sold other girls. I didn't find out till later.
Damn. What to be honest, it's like cool, but that's a fucking booming industry as well. Like
It
they
is.
sell stuff.
It is,
Yeah.
but it would. How do I say this? If they actually cared about the girls, they would keep them.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay in a business where you're not being taken care of.
Yeah.
Like, they don't give a fuck about your mental health, your physical health. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, when I had my girls, I made sure my girls ate. I made sure they had warm clothes. I still make sure they have warm clothes.
Mm.
Especially now for the winter. I still look out for my girls, even though we don't work anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because that kind of loyalty doesn't ever really go away.
Yeah.
Like, uh, on a different note, human trafficking.
Mm.
A few years ago, I noticed that some of the girls that I was working with was disappearing. They were just poof vanishing.
Mm-hmm.
I made a couple calls and I mentioned, like, I gave a list of girls that had gone missing in the 3 years that I was working in Baltimore. They
Mm-hmm.
never did anything about it. Now bodies are popping up all over Baltimore. All black women.
Wow.
All the same girls that I called in about.
Yeah.
Now there's talk about a serial killer in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I tried to tell them this 3 years ago, and they paid me no mind.
Mm. How do
So
they lure these girls in? Because do you ever watch The Wire?
they don't get lured in, they get taken.
Okay. Okay.
I was roofied once while in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I escaped was because I had someone to watch over me. I had someone to, I told them, I was like, listen, I need to get out of here. I don't feel good. I need to go. Something's not right. And there were people watching me to see what I was going to do. And when I left, they hit someone else. They tried to roofie one of my goddaughter. And they almost got her.
Yeah.
It's a very people think that stripping is all like fun and games, or you just dance all night and you make your money. There are a lot of dangers when you are a sex worker. Because
Oh
strippers
yeah.
are sex workers. They may not sell pussy, but you're selling the illusion of sex.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. You
Because
have some
guys,
truly
because guys
psychotic
feel like they
men.
get played with, right?
Huh?
Guys would feel like they're getting played with, but don't they know
Played
that
with,
coming in?
taken for a fool. It's not it's an industry where you need to have a lot of confidence and assertiveness. You need to stand your ground.
Yeah.
And you always need to have a plan B or a backup plan.
Mm.
Because some of these men don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
So it's kind of scary, yeah.
Yeah. And but the thing is, how do you feel about that stance? Because people always say like, don't tell girls to dress a certain way. Tell your sons to not rape women, right? Because I kind of agree with that to a certain extent. But then people know that there are people out in the world like that, and they put themselves in those positions. It's like me. I'm from North. In certain areas in Jersey, I'm not gonna walk in. Like,
Did you say Newark?
yeah,
Say it again.
North. That's how
It's
you
cute.
supposed.
I'm sorry. It was cute.
That's how you're supposed to say. Everybody says Newark. Like
Because I'm from New York.
from North, baby. But it's certain places like, it's just like I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go in this certain place at this time. I know I walk with God and I don't live with fear, but it's just I'm gonna protect myself. So what do you say to the girls like that may want to get in this industry, but just like and they know the dangers?
They need to be able to read the room, fit the mood. Like everybody wants to ride their own wave and create their own lane, but you need to find your niche. Once you find your niche and you establish yourself, then you can create your own lane.
Mm.
And what you said before, don't tell women to dress a certain way, tell your sons to control themselves. I feel like it does not completely fall on men.
Mm.
There are two sides to that. I believe, yeah, sure. Women can dress however they want. Men can dress however they want. But I, for one, know plenty of women who do that and purposely look for the attention.
Mm.
They like it, they thrive off of it. And those are the ones that they're usually not survivors. They don't escape.
Mm.
Those are the ones you find all battered and beat up on the side of the road. Because they think they have too much control of the situation. And they illusion themselves into thinking, oh, I can handle this. That's fine. Not realizing you didn't even read that man.
Yeah.
You don't know if he has underlying anger issues. You don't know if he has blackouts and snaps. You don't know what kind of man that is.
Yeah.
That is something that I learned the real hard way of learning how to read a man, reading his body language, his behavior. And it's a
You said
skill
you
that
grew up
I
naive, right?
honed.
You said you grew up kind of naive, right?
When I was 16 years old is when I first got to touch the street.
Oh shit, yeah.
And everybody else was way ahead of me. So I learned the hard way. But I'm the one not in an unhappy marriage, not in an abusive relationship,
Yeah.
not being held down. So yeah, I may have learned it the hard way, but it made me that tough.
Yeah.
To I don't tolerate any of that. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And and you gotta be you sound a lot like me. Like I was a little bit sheltered too, but I look at people and I'm like, damn, this motherfucker's fat. This chick, she pregnant. She like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's
There's girls
fucked
from my
up.
high school that are shaped like SpongeBob now.
Damn.
And I
That's,
was the awkward one in high school.
yeah.
I was the one that I didn't know how to dress. I never did my hair. I was a full tomboy when I was younger.
Yeah.
Full tomboy. Just did not care.
Yeah.
And as I got older, it was society and the vision I had of myself that made me change.
Mm.
To this is how I look and this is what I want to look like. So I'm going to mix these two together and this is what I came up with.
Not
And
bad.
I'm pretty satisfied with the woman that I turned out to be and that I'm still turning into.
Yeah. Now you said like you became a stripper because it was one of the places where you had control. Um, did you feel like you could never discipline yourself?
It wasn't even self-discipline really. It was I had no say in what happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
None whatsoever. Everything I did was dictated for me. I first started dancing in York, Pennsylvania when I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
Before I was even legally allowed, and I'm not going to name the name of the club, but I wasn't even legally allowed to dance yet. And I was getting it. And I went from York to Baltimore. And after that, it was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even need to know how to really dance at that time. Like, I had a big butt and big titties. I was cool. I was going to make money just standing on stage shaking my butt.
Yeah. Were you scared? Were you scared when you started doing that, or were you more curious? Because I know for me, like having like lived like a bit of a sheltered life, going to prep school all my life. I was like,
Aw, that's cute.
I know, all boys too. So
I went
imagine
to one of
how.
the worst high schools in Brooklyn.
Wait, where you at?
Aw, Bushwick High School.
Are you in the Bushwick? All right. I was out. I was just fucking out there like for a month out in Bed-Stuy and Bushwick. But yeah,
Mm,
Bushwick was
I
fucked
love
up.
Best. I grew up in Bushwick.
Wait, where?
Harmon.
Oh man, okay. I was over on Gates.
Oh yeah, that's right down the street. That's
Yeah, yeah.
the B13, right? Or that's the 52.
Yeah, that was shit. I was born '94, so I'm a Jersey boy, but I was taking a bus. But by the
I didn't
time
know
I
you
got
were
out
so
of
much younger than me.
high school, yo, wait, how old are you? 30?
31.
Oh, 30. Oh, you ain't that old. Yeah, but by the time that shit came around, I wasn't even hopping on the bus. I was hopping in Ubers and trying to fuck bitches for let me use their whip or something.
I'm screaming. I was still hopping trains at that time.
Don't yeah.
When I wasn't in school, I would hop the M train and go to the handball courts.
That's wild. Damn.
One of the best times
Um,
of my life.
correct. Yeah, that freedom sometimes. When you like, so wait, so why you moved back to is you moved in PA, right?
No,
Like, why
I
you?
lived in New York for till I was 16, and then I left, and then I came back at 19, and then I left a year later, and I was back and forth for a while in my early 20s,
Hmm.
and then 24 I came and moved down here to Lancaster with my mom.
Oh, okay, word. All right. So you've been around. Feel that. Feel that.
I've been at every
Let,
single state on the East Coast, and that whole time in between, from
damn,
like 16 to 20.
damn. So just hoeing it up, huh?
Not really. It was business. It was another kind of business.
Respect. Long as you get your money, girl. Um, let's get into it. You know, it's a topic I'm passionate about because feminism, right? Because we talked about it. I fucking hate radical feminists. Like, I feel like
I'm not a kind of I hate men feminist.
okay,
I think men are some of the most beautiful creatures on the planet.
yeah,
I
we
don't
got.
look at men as like a piece of meat. I look at the structure of your face, the curve of your lips, the way your nose blends into your face, the shape of your eyes. I look at the slenderness of your arms. Like I look at everything. I look at men like a piece of art.
Yo, that's real. You ever feel like you could look into like somebody's eyes and just like be like, damn, yo, like you got some pain in you. Yeah.
Trauma recognizes trauma.
Mm,
It's not even anything that needs to be spoken. It's an
mm,
energy.
yeah.
And it's kind of fucked up. It's really kind of fucked up.
It is, and I think that's what makes some of the most toxic relationships and some of the best sex still. Cause it's one of these things like we talked about with this girl and she was like a lot of people stay together because of trauma bonding. You know
Yep,
what I
I
mean?
was just about to say that.
Yeah. And that could be like unhealthy as fuck, or it could, if you're both evolved people and you work through it together and separately, it could be dope, but that shit, it'd be fun sometimes. Like, oh shit, yo, you used to get beat too? Like, oh, I used to get beat too. Let's
Yeah,
fuck.
I don't think people really say it like that though. It's not like, "Oh my god, I had a baby. Oh my god, I had a baby too." It's kind of like one of those deep serious conversations where one or both of you end up crying.
Mm,
And that's where the bonding occurs. And you think that, because you went through the same trauma that you understand each other. And nobody goes through trauma the same way.
yeah.
So it's like, and you are so fucking right about toxic relationships and great sex because it is fucking amazing. But
It-
the energy that is expelled trying to hold the relationship together and hold the emotion in it It's fuck, it's exhausting.
Yeah, that shit can drain you. That's personally why I just don't do relationships. Like, I don't know. I've been heartbroken once. I've been
I was
heartbroken
just
once.
in a 4-year relationship, and I was the one emotionally mature and aware, and they weren't.
So he was
So
being, was he emotionally manipulative? Like something
emotionally
like,
withdrawn.
ah,
He was extremely withdrawn. But it's not my problem. I want what I want, and I'm not going to settle. No,
do you believe in marriage? I don't. I think it's a
I
bad
do.
thing.
I
Why?
do. Because it's a bond. It's not about the government. It's not about society. It's a promise that you make to each other. It has nothing to do with the outside world. A marriage is a promise to each other. It's a commitment. You can do whatever the fuck you want before you get married. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'll marry a whore. I don't care. But after we make that commitment, shit should change. There should be an open channel of communication. Like, fuck, if you want to have an open marriage, then we can have an open marriage. But there needs to be that kind of communication.
Yeah, that's real. I don't know. I'm just like fuck it. That's a bad business still. But explain to me, your tat, because that was an interesting thing, and the
This
reason
one?
nah. Well, that one too, I like that one. And explain the Sumerian shit.
Oh, Lilith.
Lilith.
She is spoken about in the Torah. She is called by many different religions a demoness.
Hmm.
Um, sorry, I got bats in my backyard. It's pretty cool. Um, she was Adam's first wife by the biblical stories.
Hmm.
And she was made from the same mud and clay that Adam was made from. So she was technically his equal. And she wanted to be treated as such. Pretty much, she didn't want missionaries, she wanted cowgirl.
Hmm.
And he didn't like that. And he spoke to God, and said, she isn't obedient. She won't do what I say. So God said, you got to bounce. And then created Eve from his rib. So she would always have to be under him.
Hmm.
I will never be Eve. I am always Lilith. She was the first feminist, the first one to ask to be treated equally, to have the same things that he did and be treated the same way that he was. And for him to view her as his equal. And that's why I got it tattooed on my arm.
You ever try acting before?
Huh?
You ever try acting before?
I'm too goofy to act.
You
I always
realize
have a giggle at the tip of my tongue.
you realize like there's some of the goofiest people in the world. I'm goofy at times. Those like you don't have to be like super serious, but like it's people that have depth that are usually like the best actors because they can like tap into something. I don't know. I sense that in you. I was just like as you were telling that story, I was like, yo, maybe I could
I
write a
can maybe
story
dabble
about it.
in it.
Yeah, you could probably tap in, tap tap. All right, yo. It was nice talking to you about this shit, you know? But I'm gonna ask you a few questions, okay?
Okay.
You gotta answer these shits fast as fuck.
Listen, you got to give my brain time to process questions, okay?
All right. Money or love?
Wow. Wow. Short term money, long term love.
Nah. Get the fuck. One or the other.
Money.
Fuck, hell yeah. What brings you peace?
A good book.
Hmm. Biggest pet peeve?
Rudeness. Like people being rude to food service workers or like hotel workers. Don't be rude to service workers around me. I will leave you exactly where you're at.
Yeah, yeah. As a person, I was a fucking busboy, so I'm always appreciative of everybody.
I was a server for a long time in a lot of different restaurants. And I got fired from one because the guy smacked my ass, smacked it and grabbed it. And I turned around and spit in his face.
Okay. Favorite sex position?
Doge.
Hey. Favorite black sitcom?
Favorite black sitcom?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't even think I can remember the name of it. It was when I was a kid. Uh, no, it wasn't a sitcom. That was a cartoon. A lot of people don't remember Wayne Head.
What? Yo, that is so crazy. Like Wayne, hey, Wayne.
That was my favorite show. But
That
aside from
is
that, it was different strokes.
a different show. Oh, you're an old soul. Yo, I so fucking forgot about Wayne Head. I used to fucking love. Oh my god, you just
Wayne
brought me back.
Head, Wayne Head, the
Yeah.
fun has just begun.
When I wake up, finish the sentence. When I wake up, I.
Wash my face and drink a cup of tea.
Hell yeah. And would you rather have the ugly truth or a beautiful lie?
Give me the fucking ugly truth.
There it
Give me
is.
that shit.
There it is.
I'll take that. Fuck a beautiful lie. No.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
Give me the ugly truth because the world is cruel and it is ugly and it is cold. And I would rather be prepared for it than to be, in the shadows.
I feel that. I feel that. Ladies and gentlemen, Reese's Pieces. Thank you so much for fucking joining me in this interview. It was so dope to get to know you. Um, and I see you're passionate. But I'm throwing a little after hours party, so you gonna meet me there to say yes.
Yes.
Wait, you froze.
Um,
All right.